The Maverick Party, new to the ballot this year, introduced their candidates in the Lakeland and Battleford's Lloydminster riding Thursday afternoon.
It's time for us to stand up for the West.
The press conference was attended by the two candidates and former Vegreville-Wainwright MP Leon Benoit, who has been working with the Maverick Party. The candidate of the Lakeland riding is Fred Surratt. He has a background in agriculture and the oil and gas industry. He also spent around 30 years as a pastor around the area. After research into the party, it gave him the inspiration to run under the Maverick Party.
The dissatisfaction that's in our communities regarding politics is fairly widespread, and as we've presented our Maverick over bank tellers, over meals in the restaurants, I hear again and again a resounding, this is what I've been looking for.
With Surratt's agriculture background, if elected, he wants to give a bigger platform to Western farmers.
There's $445 million of dairy products imported from Quebec into Alberta, and I just struggle with how, with the amount of green grass we've got and the much room we got, why in the world we'd ever have dairy products being brought in from another province.
Ken Rutherford put his name in as the candidate to run in the Battleford's Lloydminster riding this year. Rutherford is a local business owner, a Lakeland College instructor, and a volunteer. He is new to politics, but after feeling politically alienated, the Maverick Party sparked his interest.
Now that I go throughout the communities and find out that there's a lot of people that feel the exact same as I am, I understand now that this is a movement. And it affirms to me that I'm not the only one that's feeling frustrated as a Westerner. This is widespread, and it's a message that connects us all.
When the potential of vote splitting in the region was brought up, Rutherford says that's not a cause for concern.
In a region that had 28,000 votes for Rosemary Falk, and with the second place NDP at 4,000, there's no way to split that vote and let a Liberal or an NDP through. So once I explain that to people, they say, oh, I'm glad to hear you can't vote split and let a Liberal or an NDP through.
The federal election will be held September 20th. One of Lloydminster's most visible infrastructure projects is facing delays. The completion date for Phase 1 of the 44th Street project has been delayed by a week. Jace Mackie has more on what motorists can expect when the project finally flips sides.
Crews have been working on the north side of 44th Street for weeks. The city was initially planning to have traffic transition from the south to the north side once concrete tie-ins and permanent pavement markings were put in place on the north side. The city was anticipating to make the flip this week, but on Wednesday the city confirmed the completion of Phase 1 had been delayed due to unforeseen circumstances with the final paving. So for now, traffic will stay on the south side. Motorists are reminded that left turns are restricted along the length of the project.
I would encourage and remind motorists, right now there is no left-hand turn onto what we usually easily access Walmart and other locations there. Again, law enforcement's been in place and is doing their job.
The city says they are anticipating to complete Phase 1 and make the flip next week. Business access along 44th Street South will be restricted, and motorists are asked to slow down and follow all posted detours.
When we make the flip, it will be a little different, and it's going to be the same problem. You won't be able to cross into Walmart, even though you'll be traveling on the north side. Actually, it'll be harder, and I will advise people that be very careful, because there could be open excavations and say, oh, I'm just going to zip across there, there's nobody coming. You could find yourself in a hole, and the city will not be responsible for you being in that hole.
While this project has caused delays for drivers and impacted local businesses, Mayor Albers is excited to see work progress and urges motorists to remain patient to keep everyone safe.
Ask people to be courteous, respectful, drive with caution, be very cognizant of the workers working adjacent to the roadways, because we just do not want to see an injury, let alone a fatality.
Residents can find more information on the project, including traffic accommodation plans, online at lloydminster.ca/44th Street-rehabilitation. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackie.
Welcome back. A student who will be attending Lakeland College in the fall is thanking her background in agriculture and 4-H for a scholarship she received. Jillian Code has more.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm talking with Jess Hadwin. Now, Jess was one of 15 students across Canada who was the recipient of the 2021 John Deere 4-H Canada Scholarship. Jess, congratulations. And can you tell me a bit about this scholarship?
Yeah, Well, I've been in 4-H for like ever since I was 9, so I've been doing it for as long as I can. And going back to fill out the application for it, it made me realize like how much I've actually done and how much 4-H has affected my life. And so I feel like putting all the work in over the years was worth it to get the scholarship is just a bonus too.
And what type of 4-H were you in?
I started in creative hands, so I did cooking, crafts, and sewing. And then once my sister was old enough, we both started doing the beef together. I've been doing that ever since.
That's actually pretty similar to my experience. I started in market lamb, and then me and my sister, once we got old enough, moved on to beef. So for this scholarship, you had to write an essay about the importance of agriculture. Tell me why you think it's important to be involved in agriculture.
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's like especially coming from a small town, it's the foundation of the community. Everyone is in ag, so like you're able to make a whole bunch of new contacts with people and just get to know a lot more people, like being associated with ag, and it teaches you so much that you need for the future. Like I know so much about like the physical labor of it, and I also know like I've been back in the office with my mom filling out all the sheets, like making lists of all the calves and transferring, like moving from field to field and stuff. And I think it's prepared me a lot more for the future. Like I just feel like I'm more ready because I've had so much life experience with ag, and I just think it's super important.
4-H really is just more than just a youth activity. I know a lot of alumni can share your experience there. Just how do you feel that 4-H helped prepare you for life?
I think I'm so more aware of like, well, there's the safety like around machines and animals and stuff, but I think I'm so much more aware about how like important the market is and the economy, and especially the weather right now. Like it's not something everyone thinks about when they think of ag and like cattle. But I think I learned from such a young age that pretty much everything has to work out perfectly in order to be successful in the end. So I think when I'm older, I'll kind of think about that too. Like, I'll always be thinking about the weather. Like, what's the forecast going to be like? When's it going to rain? How much are we going to get? Kind of thing. And yeah, aware, safety, appreciative. Growing up on a farm is like, there's so much opportunity, and especially during COVID and the lockdown, I wasn't stuck in a town or a city. I'm out here, I got so much land to go explore, and we were out every day working with dad kind of thing. So I was really able to appreciate like where we live, where we come from, and everything that we have.
And growing up through 4-H, how do you feel like your experiences have already helped you?
I think being in 4-H allowed me to meet so many people at shows, events, clubs, or camps. Like now I have connections everywhere, all over the province. Like someone will say a town, and I'm like, oh, so and so is from there. Like we were at camp together. And so I see a friendly face everywhere I go. Like I meet up with a lot of my camp friends. I'm still in contact with a lot of them. Like it's so easy. And I got the chance to go to Ontario for a club exchange. So we went over there and they showed us how their 4-H works, and it's completely different than ours. Like I thought it was just like a universal same across the board, but their projects and clubs are different. Like, and it was really cool to see like what they did. And then we also got to explore lots of Ontario and stuff. But it was a really cool opportunity to see the different sides and like how there's different variations of it, but it's still like the same idea everywhere.
And do you have any advice for high school or junior high students who are starting to look into applying for scholarships?
I think just make sure you put in the effort like throughout your younger years, because it'll really pay off in the end.
That's great advice. If anyone watching is interested in enrolling their kids in 4-H, the 4-H year does start in the fall, so there is still time to think about it and join if you are interested. Jess, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for getting in contact with me. This was awesome.
Now we'll take a look at your ag prices. Rather than gambling with the law, residents of Canada will soon be allowed to legally gamble on sports. Bill C-218 will amend Canada's criminal code, allowing for single-event sports betting.
It was illegal to place a bet in Canada on one game. Of course, Proline, we all have played that over the 30 years, and that is multiple games. So we could do multiple games, but you couldn't do a single game. And now all has changed.
Passed on June 29th, the bill will come into effect next Friday, August 27th. As of now, WA says only a number of provinces are set up.
So right now in Saskatchewan, we will not have single event sports betting for a while. The infrastructure has not been set up, and it's same in Alberta. They're not ready for it. So next Friday, only residents of BC, only residents of Ontario, and only residents with Quebec through their lottery corporations will have the opportunity to bet on single event sports. But through the Canadian Gaming Association, they have said it's going to take 90 to 120 days just to simply get the infrastructure up and going.
While single event sports betting in the past has been illegal, it is still a $14 billion industry. Now Connor Chan will take another look at your weather.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. 19 is what we're still seeing around in the Lloydminster area. Lots of cool air kind of starting to make its way through western parts of Canada. We are seeing that in BC as they are starting to see a little bit of thunder showers in those Kelowna, Kamloops areas that desperately do need it because of the wildfires that have been a bit of a problem over the last little bit here. But mostly mid-teen temperatures out west in Edmonton at 15, along with Edson, 16 degrees in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, 19 up in the Whitecourt areas as well. Looking over to Saskatchewan, kind of similar stories there. They did get a lot of rain in those southern parts into the early day, and then it did shift eastbound to Manitoba. 16 in North Battleford as well as in Melfort, 18 for Prince Albert, and 19 up in Meadow Lake. A little bit of a mix of bag here with the northern Saskatchewan areas. 20 in La Ronge, 15 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, 12 in Uranium City with 15 in that Flin Flon, Manitoba, Saskatchewan border as well. 17 for Slave Lake, 13 in Fort Chippewa, and 18 for Fort McMurray, 16 degrees in Peace River, and 19 for Grand Prairie. Now looking over to those southern Alberta and southern Saskatchewan areas, 17 for Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, also seeing that cooler air as well for most of Alberta. 19 in Calgary, 15 degrees in Banff, and then as you can see here, a little bit of those mid-teens and low teens as well in southern Saskatchewan, which I mentioned, of course, did see a lot of rain today. 14 in Moose Jaw, 12 in Regina and Yorkton and Estevan, 16 in Swift Current, and 18 for Kindersley. A little bit of cloud coverage as we make our way further eastbound. Lots of warm spots continuing to be in Ontario and Quebec City there, as we're still seeing temperatures well above seasonal averages right now for August, at that 29 for Toronto, and some areas seeing 30 and 31 degrees. 32 degrees right now in Quebec City, though. 15 all the way out in St. John's with some showers. 22 in Halifax, and then a little bit of cloud coverage in Winnipeg as we're going to start to see those showers kind of hang around Manitoba for a while here. And then of course that showers in BC that I talked about, as we are seeing some rain in Vancouver right now, and that could be the same said for areas like Kelowna and Kamloops. And then, like I said, we'll probably see that rain here in Lloydminster around that Sunday, Monday, as we are expecting that system to make its way around here very soonish. As we look ahead into tomorrow for Saturday, 19 degrees will be the daytime high here, with 24 Marwayne, Vermilion, Bonnyville, and Pearceland. 19 for Vegreville, with 21 for Wainwright and Provost. So we'll still see some warm temperatures in the 20s in the immediate area, with 20 also for Maidstone, Macklin, and North Battleford as well. St. Walburg sitting at 20 degrees as well. Meadow Lake at 20 as well, and then 19 for Green Lake and 16 for Isle of Cross. We'll still kind of be in those low 20s and that high teens there with that 19 degrees mark there. And as we look ahead to the next 7 days, we are going to be a little bit cooler, and that's when the rain, of course, is going to start. We could see 3 straight days of showers starting on Sunday, carrying over into Monday as well as into Tuesday as well. We could see that happening. Some much needed rain, especially for all the farmers in Saskatchewan and also around the Lloydminster area as well. 16 for Wednesday, 19 degrees for Thursday, and things will start to warm up a little bit more as we get into 20 degrees there for Friday, as we feel like August has flown by as we're very close to the month of September, where our averages, of course, will definitely change as we get back into those normal fall temperatures. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break. Well, joining us for the entertainment panel is Abby St. John. Abby, it's a little bit more Marvel focused today, as a lot of the bigger news was coming from Marvel earlier this week, and of course, earlier this week, I guess. And one of those big things was another solid look at the Eternals, one of the next movies after Shang-Chi, which is scheduled to be in theaters on September 3rd. The Eternals, as I said, did get a new trailer, which was 3 minutes of just spectacular, typical Chloe Zhao kind of filmmaking. So, what were some of your takeaways from that trailer?
Yes, so we got a deeper insight on why the Eternals are on Earth, and they have been on Earth for 7,000 years, and they're set to protect people of Earth when deviants are involved. And a big thing that, as a takeaway from this trailer, is that they finally address why they didn't interfere with Thanos or any other battle, and that reasoning is because they aren't allowed to interfere unless deviants are involved. And it kind of teases that there's a higher power in charge of them, so they're not the most powerful. They have someone to answer to. Who that someone is a little bit more unknown. And now after the snap happened and everyone returned, they say that it's made something called the emergence happen. It allowed that to happen. So deviants are now loose. So the Eternals reunite after centuries apart to stop the deviants, and they actually get involved with Earth and to protect humans and the land that they live on. Like you said, it's spectacular cinematography. Chloe Zhao has done an excellent job. She really tried to make everything as practical as possible. So they shot on location in different places around the world. So I think this is going to be a spectacular movie just visually. As you look at both trailers shows spectacular cinematography. So I think we will not be disappointed with the special effects and, the locations that they choose, and the whole movie as a whole. It really ties in together, looking at the different powers that the Eternals have separately. So I'm very excited to see what the rest of the movie brings, and it gives us a bigger insight into where this is going forward and what happened after the snap with the Eternals, and who these deviants are, where they come from, and who they're speaking to, who controls them, who says that they can't interfere unless deviants are involved. That's the biggest question. Who do they answer to? Who's that higher power? So I'm very excited to see where this movie goes and how it adds to the timeline as well, with the rest of the movies tying into one another. I'm very excited. We have to wait till November 5th for this film, and there are rumors circling around that this could possibly be on Disney Plus as well, like similar to Black Widow. So only time will tell if that's actually going to happen, but so far it's just a theatrical release until we have that confirmed.
And one of the things I saw at the beginning of the trailer, for anyone that has seen it, it's Salma Hayek riding on a cowboy, and I kind of joked that that's kind of the typical, that's kind of the trademark of Chloe Zhao, kind of having those Midwestern landscapes there, when again, as it just attributes to her visual cinematography ideas and doing everything practical. And one of the last things, Abby, we know how the Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended. Even though it ended a couple months ago, we all kind of were left off with, what can happen next, and there were rumors kind of earlier on that Anthony Mackie will come back for Captain America 4, if there was even going to be a fourth one, but now we finally have an answer.
Yes, it is confirmed. Anthony Mackie has confirmed himself for Captain America 4. The co-writer of it was co-written by the head writer of Falcon and Winter Soldier, Malcolm Spellman. So he's coming back, and I guess it'll help with the writing, because then it will directly tie in where Falcon and Winter Soldier left off, if that's what they choose to do. The director and other cast members have not been confirmed or set yet, but a few people that we could more than likely see in Captain America 4 would be Sebastian Stan as Bucky or the Winter Soldier, Wyatt Russell, who played John Walker, who started out as Captain America in the series. He has been branded the title U.S. agent at the end of the series. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, she made an appearance in the Falcon and Winter Soldier and created the U.S. agent. If you watch Black Widow, the final scene credit shows exposed her as well, making an appearance to Yelena, who is Natasha's sister. So it's possible that we'll see her character come back as well. Some ideas on what we could possibly expect from the film, if you've watched the series, would be dealing with who the power broker is, what this person is going to do, and then possibly dealing with issues with John Walker and U.S. Agent. Although we don't have anything confirmed besides Anthony Mackie and the writer, it's safe to say that they'll probably go down this route. We could possibly see Yelena, who took over as Black Widow, come back because of who she met at the end of Black Widow, but that is all up in the air. We don't have anything else confirmed, but it is very, very exciting that we're getting a fourth Captain America movie, and to see how Anthony Mackie takes over the character. We saw at the end, the last episode of the Falcon Winter Soldier, he makes this great speech and he proves that he is Captain America. So where he goes with that is very exciting to see.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, he's just a well-liked guy, not only just as an actor, but also a person as well. And I think he'll be a really good fit for that character going forward. Abby St. John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Wagon Week is in full swing here in Lloydminster, and you've still got time to head to the Lloyd X grounds and take in the Denham's Ram Tough CPCA Finals. Coming up tomorrow morning, start your day with a pancake breakfast at Denham Chrysler. They're going to start serving up pancakes at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Then race time tomorrow is 6:30 p.m. And after the races, you're going to want to head to the Chuck Wagon Cabaret. Coming up tomorrow night, the Reclaws are going to be live in Lloydminster for the Chuck Wagon Cabaret. You probably know their songs Hometown Kids, Old Country Soul, and more. So get your tickets so that you're in for a fantastic show tomorrow night at the Lloyd X. And then Sunday, you can start your day with another pancake breakfast here at the Lloyd X, and it's Championship Sunday, so race time goes at 2 o'clock. For all the details, go to LloydEXH.com. These horses are putting on an incredible show this weekend out at the Lloyd X grounds, and starting on Tuesday, you've got a chance to see a number of incredible shows of great live music as it takes over an outdoor stage that's going to be set up at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. And things start on Tuesday evening with some great local talent, the Milk-Fed Turkeys. Also on the bill that night, a scenic route to Alaska. Wednesday, more great local talent, Merle Tenney and Kelly Kenyon. Also on the bill that evening, 100 Mile House, Trevor Panzak, and more. And then Thursday, you can see Carrick Hendricks, Kendra Kay, Arcana Kings, and more. Take your own lawn chair and make sure you reserve a spot because it is limited seating, but it's also pay what you can. For all the details and to book your spot, head to vicjubatheatre.ca. Coming up tomorrow, you have the chance to learn a new skill. You can learn the art of soap making at Weaver Heritage Park in Lloydminster. You do need to pre-register for that course, and you can do that right now at lloydminster.ca. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
I'm joined here now with Lori Schoenfeld, an American author. And for our viewers who may not know who you are, could you just tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm an author of the new debut novel coming out at the end of August, Little Al. It's a psychological thriller. I'm also a mother to 3 beautiful teenagers with wild and crazy personalities. And I'm also the owner of Inner Enlightenment, which is a business built around supporting and helping teens, adults, and kids with PTSD and anxiety to be able to express in a creative way to help support them through the feelings and emotions that they're going through. So,
and you know, speaking of your newest book, Little Al, coming out at the end of the month, where did the inspiration for this book come from?
The inspiration, actually, I had really bad postpartum depression after my second baby. And I personally have struggled with PTSD and anxiety, very heightened anxiety. I actually went to go get in the shower. My two little kids were supposed to be watching a show, and for whatever reason, I had this massive sense of just panic and anxiety that something bad was going to happen to them. And it was very real in my body. I jumped into the shower for 3 minutes, made it really fast, could not hear them at all, no noise, and I instantly thought something was wrong. And I went out. They were fine. They were smiling and like waving at me, "Hi, Mama." But it was that feeling that was so real in my body that stuck around for weeks afterward of what would I do if my girls went missing? Because I had just felt that deep emotion, and that just spiraled into the story of Little Al.
So with a lot of themes in the novel relating to those, what can readers expect?
Little Al, you are expect to go into a mystery. A lot of the whodunit feel. There is multiple POVs, so you just have no idea who is who and what's going on throughout the whole movie or the book, excuse me. Hopefully movie. We always want that as a writer and an artist, right? There are lots of deep emotions of panic, anxiety, hence it being a thriller. But also self-discovery. Adeline Rushner is my main character, and it really is a self-discovery journey of trying to understand and figure out who she is versus who she thought she had to be, to figure out what happened to her daughters. And so there's a lot of her own hero journey walking through hard topics like child abuse, PTSD, and anxiety, but also a lot of heroic parts where she is really tapping into intuition and listening to her heart and her voice and trying to separate who she is versus who she thought she needed to be. So all those beautiful elements are just mashed right into Little Al.
You mentioned inner enlightenment, and with that, you also host a podcast. So what drew you to starting this and starting the podcast?
The Enlightenment Podcast I started about 2 years ago, and it was right after I started Inner Enlightenment, where I had a few opportunities where people asked me to come speak on their stage about embracing fear, and I was terrified, Jasmine, so terrified. And we're talking about embracing fear. But I will tell you that after I got up there and shared my story, I was not expecting the feedback afterward of so many people coming up and saying, "Thank you for sharing your story. I feel so validated and heard, and I want to tell you about my story." And it built this really beautiful piece of communication and connection of getting to know other people. And I just needed that one space of being able to share my story, and then it kind of just took off from there. So the Enlightenment Podcast is a safe platform to help anyone who wants to share their story, as we all have those beautiful voices and stories within us to share. We just need that one space and people to root for us to help us get off the ground so that we can start really seeing what we're made of and soaring in our own element. And so that's where that was born.
And if anyone is looking to listen to the podcast or even find your book, where's the best place to go?
The best place would be my website at laurieschoenfeld.com. Also on Facebook, just under Laurie Schoenfeld, I have multiple places and links up where you can find me and Little Al.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Laurie.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. This was a lot of fun.
All right, looks like we could see some rain starting on Sunday, Monday, and on Tuesday, so we'll see a lot of that coming from the west throughout the weekend. 16 degrees on Wednesday, 19 on Thursday, and then we'll start to see things get back into the 20s on Friday with that daytime high expected of 20 degrees.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News, and have a great weekend.